The hair's a bit poofy today, but either way, we have Gilbert O'Sullivan and Alone Again, Naturally. That word naturally is doing a lot of work there to make the title even more bleak. Now, I want to say, I was watching Stuart Little too, and this part of the song was in it, and I thought, ooh, I like the sound of that, and I have the channel, so I thought, why not do a full reaction to the song? So let's get into it, talk about it after. Yeah, I like how I found it. Anyway, let's get into it. Let's go. And I know it's a big hit, but I've never heard it.
In a little while from now, if I'm not feeling any less sound, I promise myself to treat myself and visit a nearby tower. And climbing to the top, will throw myself off in an effort to make clear to whoever what it's like when you're shattered, left standing in the lurch at a church where people are saying, my God, that's tough, she stood him up. No point in us remaining, we may as well go home, as I did on my own, alone again, naturally. To think that only yesterday I was cheerful, bright and gay, looking forward to what wouldn't do the role I was about to play. But as if to knock me down, reality came around, and without so much as a mere touch, cut me into little pieces, leaving me to doubt. Talk about God in His mercy, if He really does exist, why did He deserve me in my hour of need? I truly am indeed alone again, naturally. It seems to me that there are more hearts broken in the world that can't be mended, left unattended. What do we do? What do we do? Alone again, naturally. And looking back over the years, whatever else that appears, I remember I cried when my father died, never wishing to hide the tears. And at 65 years old, my mother, God rest her soul, couldn't understand why the only man she had ever loved had been taken, leaving her to start with a heart so badly broken. Despite encouragement from me, no words were ever spoken. When she passed away, I cried and cried all day, alone again, naturally. Alone again, naturally.
There it is. Gilbert O'Sullivan and Alone Again, Naturally. Great Irish singer, of course, just to mention that as well. So like I said, I was watching Stuart Little with my father, Stuart Little 2 to be exact. And of course, Stuart's going through a big problem. He's alone. And yeah, I guess this song fits that whole narrative very well. Holy moly. Like, I just have to say, it's one of the saddest songs ever written. I mean, it's one of the saddest songs I've ever heard. You talk about how everything is just going bad for this guy. And even though there was a glimpse of hope at one point, I guess when he thought he was going to get married, I mean, when that's kind of the first problem he brings up, being left alone at the altar. Just to say right at the top about the lyrics, but yeah, there's a moment where he thought he was happy. You know, yesterday he was happy because maybe this loneliness would end. But of course, yeah, it was not going to end. And it seems like reality, again, hit him in the head. And he came face to face with that. in that he will be alone until he's dead. I mean, my God, and he'll die alone as well. So yeah, so much pain, so much. I mean, you might say futility as well. So much exhaustion as well. He seems frustrated, obviously. And again, it's a painful song. It's a depressing song. We talk about suicidal thoughts here. I mean, my God, just the way it starts off too. I mean, I don't talk about the lyrics usually right off the get go, but that's, again, it's such a depressing song, especially lyrically. And he's just talking about how he's gonna go to visit a tower, whatever he says. Well, again, we'll get to the lyrics soon, and we'll read through them. But yeah, he's gonna go visit a tower. It's like, well, what's he gonna do? And all of a sudden, he'll climb up and he'll jump off, and it's like, well, Jesus Christ, okay. Just to show how broken he is. Yeah, he's a broken man. He's a shattered man, and that's the only way he can get that across is to go to a tower and jump off of it and end this whole thing that you call life. And anyway, so emotional, so grabbing as well. The piano here is beautiful. I mean, obviously the song altogether, it's melodic and it's also melancholic as well, maybe is what I actually wanted to say there. But yeah, and it's just you have Gilbert's voice here, which again, I've never heard him sing anything else. I know I saw that the song went to number 3 in the UK. I want to say it went to number 1 in the US. It was, a big hit. I mean, my God, but again, a big hit from the 70s. I see people in the comments talking about how it was a song they heard on the radio all the time. And I'm sure it's still played on the radio in some places. But yeah, I never heard it until recently, again, when I was rewatching a movie. But but to say about Gilbert's voice, distinctive, high kind of voice, up and down, a lot of fluctuations in that way. Just he comes and he goes, and he goes from soft to not booming or anything like that, but he just he comes back again, especially when he says alone again, naturally, he just goes right back down. It's just, I mean, showing his emotion, showing his passion for this subject you might say, and showing his pain again. And it's just it's full of despair. And again, if you're already in a sad place, maybe you'll listen to this even more just to feel that you're not alone. But if you are in a sad place, maybe it does make you even more sad. And I do also want to mention, because why not? People always, I guess, wonder, I'm looking on song facts here, that Gilbert O'Sullivan has denied that the song is autobiographical. He says that's one thing a lot of people ask him about. And he said, no, his mom was still alive when he wrote it. But also, apparently, he did not have a good relationship with his father. His father was not very nice to him or his mother. I guess he was abusive. And so yeah, there's that part there. So maybe, I mean, with the whole father point, maybe he channeled a little bit of that, but either way, he didn't care about his father, so probably not. So yeah, but still, but yeah, and in the way with Gilbert's voice, I almost want to say, it's almost like, his voice is almost, his voice, when he sings it, I didn't see a video of him singing it or anything like that, but it's like his mouth seems like it's almost closed, just in the way he delivers these lyrics. I don't even know how to explain his gravitas, his style. Again, it's distinctive and it's high at points. And anyway, it's a voice that just exudes what the song is about. Love the guitar solo in there, and I looked up the personnel here because this song did not appear on an album. It just, I guess it was a standalone kind of single, whatever. And it wasn't put on an album anyway. Maybe it was later on, but either way. So I'm looking at the personnel here that Google gave me anyway, and apparently Big Jim Sullivan. And I want to say I've heard him because he was a big time session player. I feel like I've heard him on a recording I've done before. I must have. But yeah, Big Jim Sullivan was on the guitar solo here especially, and light, tasteful. You could hear every pluck of the guitar he was playing, and light, like I said, just delightful as well, and soft as hell, and nothing was thunderous here, and it wasn't supposed to be. I mean, why would you have any kind of booming sound here? I mean, the song is just all about loss and feeling lost and feeling disoriented and feeling alone. So I mean, yeah, it just the music matched that so well, again, with that piano, with that guitar, and especially those instruments anyway. And yeah, and of course the voice just matched that so well too. I mean, I can't imagine anyone else singing this, but a lot of people have covered it. But again, Gilbert's voice just puts you into just a sad mood. I mean, my God, the song is moody as hell, and for good reason. So anyway, I mean, I'm glad I came here to listen to it finally. So let's get into these lyrics. Again, they say so much. I mean, and it's kind of straightforward when you look at the lyrics anyway. You can kind of get the feel of what's happening. So, and I love how there's no choruses. We're just going straight through. We're just taking, verse by verse. I mean, my God. Anyway, in a little while from now, if I'm not feeling any less sour, I promise myself to treat myself and visit a nearby tower. And the way he's saying this, he's very okay with what he's going to do. It seems like it's planned out. out. Again, it is planned out. I promise myself if I'm not feeling better, then I'll do this. It's like, my God, again, it's so sad with how, okay he is with going through with this suicide, you would say. Climbing to the top, will throw myself off in an effort to make it clear to whoever what it's like when you're shattered. Again, the only way he can really show that he's broken, to show his emotion, to show where he is in life, is to end it. And, to show people like, wow, I guess he was doing pretty bad. I mean, look what he did to himself. And then we go on, left standing at in the lurch at a church, standing at the altar. And it seems like maybe he was already depressed, whatever. Of course, he goes on to talk about his mother dying and his father dying. So he thought maybe, again, there's a glimmer of hope through marriage. And maybe, again, he found somebody and he probably proposed early. I mean, that comes to mind, in just excitement perhaps of, oh, wow, maybe I won't be depressed anymore. Maybe I won't feel so alone. But of course, this doesn't work out, and alone again, naturally. But anyway, where people saying, my God, that's tough, she stood him up, no point in us remaining, we may as well go home, as I did on my own, alone again, naturally. Again, and he gets stood up, and then of course the people are there, well, I guess we should leave. That's tough for him, but let's go. And then they all went home, just like he did, alone again, naturally. And I did see a video too, because I like to look up some things about the songs I'm doing before I go into them, where he wanted, apparently when he came up with the title, he had Alone Again, but he didn't know what word to put in the brackets. He said he thought about the word forever. Anyway, and then finally dawned on him, naturally. He said that worked very well. And again, it just adds to the whole pain, that you get from this. Again, it just makes that title even bleaker, which is, I don't know if that's a word or not. Anyway, then we go on to the second verse. To think that only yesterday I was cheerful, bright, and gay, looking forward to, well, who wouldn't do the role I was about to play. Again, it seemed like he was happy to think about the role he was going to have as a husband. And again, when he says to think that only yesterday I was cheerful, bright, and gay, it seems like that day of being cheerful, it doesn't come around a lot. And of course, again, he just had hope. And that firmly went away quickly because reality came into play. But as if to knock me down, reality came around, like I said, and without so much as a mere touch, cut me into little pieces. Again, I just love how, because there is a quickness to his voice when he says stuff like, and without so much as a mere touch, cut me into little pieces. I don't know, obviously it's a slow kind of pop ballad, but again, there are moments where his voice, he does have some quickness, And there's not a bunch of spaces in here, except especially for the guitar solo. But I do love his bit of quickness, which came to me anyway. But again, he's up and down. He's all around. He can change it up. He does take a few shifts here vocally as well. Leaving me to doubt. Talk about God and his mercy. For if he really does exist, why did he desert me? Again, now you're really getting into these big questions, these spiritual questions. When you're in this deep into the muck, into depression, you start thinking about, where's God? If God exists, why would he do this to me? Reminds me of a line from like freaking Gordon Lightfoot's song, The Wreck of Edmund Fitzgerald, and I can't remember specifically now what it was, but where does the love of God go? I think when the waves turn the minutes to hours, that kind of a thing. Where's God at when I need him most? Again, you question these things when you think about suicide, when you have these depressing times, when you're left at the altar. My God. Anyway, in my hour of need, I truly am indeed alone again, naturally. And then, laugh, I guess, to keep from crying. Good Lord. Then the bridge comes in. It seems to me that there are more broken hearts in the world that can't be mended, left unattended. What do we do? What do we do? And then we go into the guitar break there, and then the pre-verse with Alone Again, naturally. But that bridge, maybe if he was in a great relationship, maybe if this was a happy song, he might think there's more happy hearts than broken ones. But of course, he's in this sour mood and he's been in that sour mood for a long time. So why would he think that happy hearts exist? There's more broken hearts in the world that can't be mended than happy ones anyway. And then the third verse here. Now looking back over the years and whatever else that appears, I remember I cried when my father died, never wishing to hide the tears. So when he comes in with this verse now, it just adds on to the already sorrowful song that we're hearing, and you're like, well, my God, okay, so he's left at the altar. Now he's talking about how his dad died, which obviously didn't help him. And at 65 years old, my mother, God rest her soul, it's just like there's no happiness here. There's no positivity at all. Yeah, everything's just a pipe dream. Couldn't understand why the only man she had ever loved had been taken, leaving her to start with a heart so badly broken. despite encouragement from me, no words were ever spoken. So again, it seems like she died, I guess, of a broken heart after her husband died. I think about Johnny Cash and June Carter, died of a broken heart. My goodness gracious. And even through words of encouragement, which maybe weren't that great coming from the narrator here, Gilbert, whoever you want to say, because he was already in a dark place too, because it hit him hard with his father's death. But it didn't help the mother, and she went away too. And then we finish off with, when she passed away, I cried and cried all day. Alone again, naturally. Alone again, naturally. He's left alone again. He feels abandoned once more, and just talking about, and I guess again, this was stuff that happened in the past before he got left at the altar. These three big things: father died, mother died, left at the altar. Now I'm going to climb the tower, I guess, to finish this all off. And and it's relatable. It hits home with a lot of people, and that's why I'm sure it got so big. And just so many people who go through these things, who go through loss, who suffer through, again, depression, suicidal thoughts. I can attest to that as well. I don't want to insert myself in this song or whatever, but yeah, I can understand where he's talking about. I never thought about climbing a tower or anything like that, but people do get to that low spot and you don't know what to do, and you just think, well, why not just do this? I've lost everything and I'm so alone. What else can there be to life? So yeah, he exemplified what that feeling is here and did it so well. It didn't, I don't know how he could, but didn't mock, I guess, that sense you get, or how you feel when you're at your lowest point. He knows what it's all about just from the song. That's what you get anyway. And I think he was like 22, he said, when he wrote this, so just wise beyond his years for these lyrics again. So anyway, beautiful song in its own way, even though, again, it is so sad. So thanks for watching, I guess. Thanks for liking, subscribing, commenting. Again, I don't know, this is kind of a random song to do, but again, I heard it on a movie and I thought, what the hell, I want to hear that now, because it sounded very good just from what I heard. So anyway, thanks for watching, thanks for all the support, and I'll talk to you guys again soon.